T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Y'all, welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Like, I wish you guys could legitimately see the amount of multitasking I do for everything. It's insane, but we're here. Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk. We got a lot to talk about, so we'll get into it today. Also, we have some breaking news, which is perfect timing. Ric Flair just announced his opponent, so we'll get into that. But we have what it do, Kane McCoy. How are you doing?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy Monday, start of the week. Very interesting. Sorry, I just got my email stating that I will not be Ric Flair's final opponent, so I'm gonna have to digest this. It's been a busy day. Clearly, I just came from a casting couch, where I played the role of the couch. Clearly, very 70s era we got going on. But I got my Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt on, so I'm ready to raise some hell.
I was like, I thought there's so many ways for you to go with this casting couch thing. So I was just waiting because sometimes you be saying some off the wall ish. So what's the first story you have for me before we get into Flair?
Man, Monday, speaking of breaking news, this was kind of the breaking news of the day for all of us who enjoy women's wrestling, and it was that AQA announced her retirement via Twitter. AQA was wrestling in All Elite Wrestling. As recently as February, she signed the deal with those guys. Of course, you know her for her run in NXT as Zeta Ramir. And she spoke about her run actually in NXT with our homegirl Ella J. She spoke about everything on her A Wrestling Gal podcast. Check that out on Spotify. Go listen. She explains kind of how she was dealing with some medical issues in WWE, which led her being released and ended up in AEW. She had a couple of matches. She was even most recently on the Super Card of Honor pre-show back in April where she put on a banger against Miranda Ali. So AQA, you know, she tweeted and about her mental health, physical health as well. She's not even 26 years old yet. You know what I mean? She started wrestling with Booker T out there doing the reality of wrestling. And it's been about maybe 4 or 5 years in the game. So, you know, it looks like this to be like a mental and or physical burnout. But we wish you well, AQA, and we hope that once you kind of take this time off, kind of recalculated everything, we hope to see you back in the ring because you had a very, very kick-ass shooting star press. And check her Twitter out. I think they have a little compilation on YouTube of a bunch of shooting star presses. Very flawless, Billy Kidman-esque 7-year itch vibe. So AQA, get well, and we hope to see you back in the ring or whatever makes you feel great, mama.
Yeah, so she did. Yeah, shout to thank you, Nikki. I will pull that up. Thank you so much, Nikki, with the breaking news. Kind of like the I forgot who the person is. Like, you know, the Charlie's Angels. Charlie's making everything work. I guess we're his angels or her angels, but anyways. But I think we were talking about this offline where the way wrestling is set up now is that you have the wrestling schools. It's not like a journeyman type thing where it's like, oh, okay, well, I want to be a wrestler, but there's like, maybe one random school in some random place that you can't necessarily get to, and you're still in school, and like your parents don't understand all this other stuff, and you're kind of like in the journeyman thing. Whereas now you can go to a school at, as long as your parents kind of sign off, 16, 17, even a little bit younger, and you can literally spend your career doing that. Then you have the indie circuit. And with social media, if you do it right, you can literally make money on the indies. And when you're like 18, 19, 20, you don't know nothing about no taxes. So you're not really worried about that. Trust me. So, and then you get signed at an early age, you're going to have burnout. Like I've seen that so many times when I was running track. You have people who are running from like the age of 5. And by the time they get to like middle of college, they may or may not make it, or they just don't even care anymore. So I think that's going to be happening a lot. We've seen it with a couple other people where it's a physical and a mental burnout. And I think that's kind of contributed. The great thing is we have these wrestling schools and you can follow your dreams in being a wrestler. But the downfall is you put all your energy into that and you still have a whole life to go. Your body's going to be like, yeah, we good. So.
And especially with AQA and her medical issues, WWE was worried about dehydration issues. She just got released in November, so not even a calendar year ago. She goes from WWE, and then she ends up in AEW in February and testing that, out and trying to see, and you got to deal with the mental and the physical of that. So that's a lot to deal with in a year, let alone 6 months, and kind of going through that grind of what it is to be a professional wrestler anyway. So sometimes you just got to look back and say, wait a second, I'm gonna have to recalibrate, readjust. Maybe she can, find some other hobbies, figure out what to do. But I mean, she's loved wrestling since she was a childhood fan, and got to live her dream. So I look at it as a delay, not a denial. I hate to see people not be able to do what they truly love. We truly love what we do. So to think about not being able to do that, sometimes you just kind of got to sit it out and recalibrate, refocus, and hopefully she gets another shot.
There it is. We also have somebody else joining in the building. Blue, what it do?
What up, though? How's everybody doing?
Good. Just
how you feeling, brother?
Surviving.
I wasn't selected as Ric Flair, so I'm kind of.
Yeah, I was looking for the email. I need that check.
Yeah.
I was looking for it. I'm like, dang.
I'll take a chop in the corner. Come on.
Right. I need anything. I stay in the corner for a hot tag.
That's a big payday right there. I mean, pretty much wrestling is hot right now. We're gonna get into a couple of stories, including Ric Flair, how it's just kind of like one of those things where even if you are sitting on the bench, you making money if you do it right with social media, etc. So, what do you have for us today?
The Ric Flair story. That's my story. Basically, it's been announced that Ric Flair's last match again is going to be a tag team match with Andrade versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. So it's like Double J and JL versus Andrade and Ric Flair. Which to me, it felt like, why? I always felt like it was weird when people come out of when they had their last match somewhere and then they still continue elsewhere. Then I was like, all right, this is how many times is this going to be your last match? You had a perfect send-off with Shawn Michaels, and a legend in Shawn Michaels' end your career, and then nobody really watched it. No offense to anybody that's a TNA fan and Impact fan, but during his time there, nobody really seen what he did at TNA. Let's be honest. So that kind of was fell on the wayside. But now you're doing this, and it's why? In my opinion, to me, he's a great talker, and he should stick to talking. Maybe pick up commentary or something. Leave the ring alone. Yeah.
I mean, Ric Flair is too big of a personality to be commenting on somebody doing a suplex and reacting off of that. I mean, this is an incredible match. When we saw this, of course, the prediction was maybe it could be Chris Jericho, maybe it could be somebody from the NWA days. It was always going to be a tag match. Obviously, Ric Flair is not going to do a single match at 73 years old. He said it will be
You never
somebody
know.
WWE related. He said WWE related. Everyone's like, ooh. But technically speaking, Jeff Jarrett is the president or VP of live events or whatever title he came to. And he's also our special guest referee because he's randomly going to referee the Usos and the Street Profits at SummerSlam. Tag team specialist Jeff Jarrett. I guess he has to, live up for that. So on Saturday, he's going to referee. On Sunday, he's going to wrestle against Flair and Jarrett. I'm sorry, Flair and Andrade and team with Lethal. But the interesting thing is, I thought it was going to be the Undertaker. See,
What?
it would have
A
been
lot of people did.
Listen, no,
Why?
because if Ric Flair's last opponent is the Undertaker, then he can also beat him and bury him because that Ric Flair gonna die in the ring, man. He's 73 years old.
I mean, Vince McMahon was in the ring. I honestly felt like
Did you see
the
that
way
stunner?
I did, but here's the thing. It's like, and he said on plenty of occasions that if he's gonna go, he wants to go in the ring. And I honestly, even though obviously given his age, I thought he was gonna be like balls to the wall. I'm gonna do a singles match, and if I go, I
What
go.
happens? What
Like,
happens?
What happens?
I
What
die, I
happens? It's one
die.
of those things. It's like no offense to guys, but it's like those guys that should not be having relations with younger women, and they do, and then they die. It's like you kind of knew that was going to happen. Like you're overweight, you have diabetes, like it's a plethora of things, and now you're messing with a 21-year-old. Like that's how he wanted to go. So I kind of felt like with Ric Flair, it would have been the same thing. It's like, hey, balls to the wall. I take anyone. Obviously, I don't want to die by somebody's hands, but here it is. So,
But here's the thing, right? When you start tagging hashtag Raw on Monday, and like insinuate like you're gonna pick somebody from WWE, how the hell is WWE supposed to promote this? Like that's like that's what I'm looking at. Like like WWE have their hands in this final match. How are they supposed to promote this? What?
Well, special guest referee for the Usos and the Street Profits, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, Hall of Famer, is going to team with Jay Lethal, or WWE way, he's going to team with the person because he can't acknowledge Lethal. To take
I'm about to say
Ric
like,
Flair and the former Andrade Almas.
there's no way to promote this. This is not going to work. This is not good. Without looking stupid, is not. This is the forbidden door for them, I guess. Like this is this is another way to do the.
This is the forbidden handicap accessible door. Yes, because the old people got to push the button because they can't use the strength to open it. That's what this is. I mean, obviously, Andrade and Jay Lethal are doing the heavy lifting. Yeah,
right. So this gives AEW an open door to promote this on their show this coming week on Dynamite and Rampage.
Yeah, I mean, two of their wrestlers are on here. You know what I mean? With Andrade and Jay Lethal. I think it's going to be interesting if like Flair somehow appears on AEW television. I don't think Flair currently has a deal with WWE at the moment. Or if his Legends deal is there, obviously it allows him to do this. But, it's presented by Jim Crockett Promotions, which gives me a very healthy giggle for them to go old school like that, which is why I thought it was going to be like an older wrestler. But you see it, and it's kind of like, yeah.
But you also have to remember, I think a couple of weeks ago we talked about, or may have talked about, Ric Flair's Woo got added back to WWE. So I feel like Ric Flair is like the Betty White of wrestling. Like he can do no wrong. It doesn't matter if it's WWE or AEW. It's one of those things where you respect the man for what he's done. And then also too, I don't think there's any other wrestler that's his age that is across the board, across generations. People know who he is. Like this man has had countless rap songs made about him, even currently. And excuse me, you have a lot of people who are still talking about him to this day that are grown-ass men and young kids. So I feel like the appeal across any brand, like you just have to respect it. And I feel like with WWE, you're like, it's kind of like, you know, when you have grandparents and they kind of hit that age where it's just like, you know what, they've done their part. They can say whatever they want. They can do whatever they want, as long, you know, it's just one of those things. I feel like that's
don't worry about Grandpa. He just talking.
Yeah, he's talking.
Exactly.
You know how he do. You know how he do.
With Ric Flair being so, you know, attached to the hip hop community, will Offset make an appearance and give somebody a chair shot? Yes or no?
He got to perform to the ring.
That's what I'm saying. Like, will Ric Flair be like done? Will he just, you know, oh my God, it's Offset, and he slides in the ring and gives like Jeff Jarrett a chair shot? Like Jarrett's about to hit Flair with the guitar, but instead his Offset like a mix table or something like that. By the way, big shouts to Karen Jarrett. By the way, like Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal with Karen Jarrett.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4 J's.
Like
4 J's.
Better than 3 Ks.
You right? I was right here, TK, with you. We are in Nashville, Tennessee. 4 J's are way better than 3 Ks. Does Ric Flair? They go out on their back. We've already seen Flair do it in his other last match. Does Flair and Andrade lose this? And does Flair take the pin?
Since he's booking this for himself, I'm pretty sure he's gonna go out on top. Like he's about to make sure he leaves on his 2 feet, wooing up the ramp.
You have to.
And doing
way.
The ugly cry again. What's the ugly cry? We got a picture of the ugly cry from WrestleMania.
Oh yeah. Well,
and the Hall of Fame.
But see, here's the thing. Like, you see this match and it's like, cool, but I'm not gonna lie. I thought it would be either Jericho. For some odd reason, maybe we might get like a daddy-daughter dance vibe, and he'll fight Charlotte Flair for his last match. I was hoping for that. Or I was hoping that he'll fight NWA World Heavyweight Champion Trevor Murdoch and go out as NWA Champion. That was like my dream booking, that he would fight Trevor Murdoch and win the title and retire as NWA World Champion. That would have been nice to see. And then obviously, you know, he forfeits the title, or like Nick Aldis shows up and just eviscerates him. That's evaporates and eviscerate, one word. He eviscerates him and wins the title and goes that way. You know what I mean? But I would have liked to have seen Flair kind of have like to become a 17-time world's champion and be the oldest champion.
I mean, that was
Flair.
And I feel like if you are making the calls, because again, I'm notorious. Like I love to see what the backstage of, you know, the writers and stuff. I want to know what was going through Flair's mind. That's like, I'm gonna make a comeback, and like everything that he wants. Because again, he's in that state where, barring, you know, him jumping off, you know, a cage where nobody would let him do for more.
Nah, he's not staying.
Than anything else. Like everybody else would be like, everything else, I feel like people will be like, all right, we'll give you that. We'll give you that. We'll give you that. So I really want to know how we got to this, if this was his vision. Because somebody in the comments said, of course, we don't know. We haven't seen any stuff. But, you know, apparently Flair was thinking about Jericho, but, you know, he's pissed at Jericho at the moment. Who knows why, if that is real, allegedly. So, you know, I really want to know how we got to this part.
They left in the comment it was allegedly FT as well. That's what he really wanted to go out against, but we don't know if that's true or not either. Again, him signing a new contract with WWE could have played a big part of a lot of this. And in terms of like what was allowed in his final match, like again, how are they gonna mention this in the first place? You know what I mean? So now they have to like say, yeah, I'm gonna have a match against Jeff Jarrett and just completely ignore the part that it's a tag team match.
Yeah,
and then there's other people in the match.
Yeah, that's the thing. And don't get it twisted. That card is stacked already with some pretty dope matches on there. I think FTR will be on there. There's a couple other matches that escape me at the moment, but I was looking at it like, hey man, like it's some fire. And then they also have Starrcade that weekend. Not Starrcade. Starrcast is that weekend. But look, they got Killer Cross against Davey Boy Smith Jr., the Von Erichs against the Briscoes, the American Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards against the Motor City Machine Guns. I mean, it kind of looks like an Impact Plus card kind of But they also got the Rock and Roll Express, the OG, Ricky Morton. Oh no, it's Ricky and Carrie. Okay, it's son and son. So it's big NWA territorial vibes against Brian
Mm-hmm.
Pillman Jr. and Brock Anderson, the Four Horsemen, with Arn Anderson. Ray Phoenix versus Torres versus Laredo Kid versus Bandito. Got to get some lucha libre. Our girl Jordan Grace against Diana Perazzo and Rachel Ellering for the Impact Knockouts World Championship triple threat. Of course, Josh Alexander versus Jacob Fatu for the Impact World Championship, and of course, Flair and Andrade versus Jeff Jarrett
Interesting card.
and Jay Lethal. So
That's a
very
good
good
card.
card. Again, to your point, Blue, a little bit of Forbidden Door vibes with the multiple cards of Impact and JPW, AAA as well. Which is kind of what, if you follow Ric Flair career, this is what wrestling always has kind of been anyway. Like the big events that was on the closed circuit televisions have always been kind of like a supercar, whether it's been world class and other federations teaming up back in the day to make USWA or like world class and Georgia Championship Wrestling. There's always been a super card vibe where you saw other companies' titles defending other companies' big marquee events. So with the whole Jim Crockett promotions, the JCP promo, it's meant to be a throwback to Flair's heyday of the 70s and 80s. So it's gonna be really exciting. A lot of strong style type of like stiff Southern wrestling. Again, the choice is interesting. Again, we had Jericho. We could have had maybe Hulk Hogan, but Hogan can't walk, and plus, he probably had other meetings with sheets and ropes to go to that day.
There's still some stank on his name.
Yeah, and also I heard, rumor has it that they proposed Ric Flair in a gauntlet match against various airline stewardess, but it was just a gauntlet match of stewardess from different airline companies over the years. Yeah, it was going to be called the Helicopter in Hell in a Cell. The helicopter.
Oh, see, that really matches your whole outfit right now. Blue, are you staying for a little bit, or you got kids to take care of?
Dinner time. It's dinner time for over here.
Well, thank you so much again. Check out Blue and For Your Wear. We have some shirts up there. I saw somebody post that she got a shirt, the Ride with Naomi shirt. So shout out to that. We have another shirt debuting this week. And then because I like the way Blue style, I have my own personal brand that's going to be debuting right before my birthday. And, for my West Indian folks, we got something for you. You're just going to have to love it.
Facts.
So thank you so much. And, hope enjoy the meal and the kids and fathers and all that good stuff.
I will definitely. Also, if you get a chance, I just dropped my limited edition Sasha shirts.
Yeah, Sasha Banks.
Not Sasha Banks. No, not Sasha Banks. Don't get me in trouble. Mercedes Renardo. Mercedes Renardo shirts. I dropped some Queen merch for the fans out there, for the Sasha crew. Know what I mean? It's about like 30 left, so get them before they're gone. Type situation.
That design is fire. That design is
once it's gone,
amazing.
It's gone.
The shop going crazy for those, absolutely.
And I got Trinity dropping on Friday, so look out for those two.
There it is.
Other than that, thank you guys for having me. Let me go eat.
No problem. Thank you. Have a good one. Enjoy your meal.
Peace. Yeah.
All right. Well, we have another host, brand new to WWT, stepping in. And then also, too, by the way, WWT crew, Nikki and Santana, will be at that Ric Flair match. So I'm sure it's going to be absolutely crazy. So we'll get some info from them. But we have Mr. Jay Washington.
Hello.
Finally debuting.
First of all,
WWE
I don't like your tone. I don't like your tone. I need you to change that.
I'm just saying. What to do, Mr. Washington? So for people who don't know, comedy extraordinaire. He's been acting in commercials and movies and all this stuff. You see him
TV,
everywhere.
Don't forget TV.
And TV. He's also
I mean, if you want to do it, if you want to do it.
Like,
now it's has been real. Let's just say this. Things have been extremely busy in the best way possible and on a variety of levels. And I've been wanting to do this for a minute, but also I knew if I didn't come on eventually, TK was going to keep harassing me on a daily basis. So So I'll take the
I wouldn't say
harassment.
harassment. I would say, it comes to a point where it's like, look, you hopping on, or you getting off the line. Just saying.
Yeah. But I'm happy to be here, Kane. What's good, bro?
Chilling, man. Lucky for us, WWT doesn't have any type of human resources, so we just have to talk about any type of harassment this way. Like, AKA, please help us. Please help us.
Man, listen.
Wow.
I mean, everything's okay. I mean, everything's awesome. Please.
Wow. Wow. It's like that, eh? All right. What's your story, Jay? Because y'all.
First of all, let's just do it the right way, because just let's get this pressure off of your chest. Now, I don't know if y'all heard over the weekend that Mercedes Varnado. Here's the thing: she's still Sasha Banks until it's official press release. Let's just keep it real. It's still we all know what the deal is, kind of. Until there's a press release, it is still Sasha Banks. Well, she is supposedly taking bookings, right? And she charging $30K. Now, people on the internet, on the Bird app that's known as Twitter, decided to lose their ever-loving mind. And some promoters are like $30,000 for her to come in is way too high. And I feel like this, if I can say it this way, shut y'all cheap asses up, because she should be asking for more. Let's just be real. She should be. Not only is she a certified Hall of Famer, I don't care what anybody says is going on right now. Her legacy throughout the WWE has solidified her as a Hall of Famer. Don't care about her WrestleMania record, anything else. She is solidified Hall of Famer. She is now in the Star Wars universe as not just a one-off character. She is consistently moving forward in the franchise. And also just her name alone. $30,000 is nothing, especially to any promoter that brings her in. Here's why. You are going to make at minimum double that off of the price for the meet and greet alone. You're going to make double, like people like 30,000. You are going to, the moment you announce she's coming to C2E2 in Chicago, people are buying day passes solely to go see her. You get what I'm saying? Like they don't even care about the rest of the con. They're going to see her.
And then how much are the day passes?
So they vary. I think they're like some are like $70-$80, and I don't even know how many individual days are still left, even for the day. I think she's only Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. $50 I see in the chat. So not only that, you still got to pay different for the autograph and the picture, which she makes. That's her money. That's her. She's Saturday and Sunday. So the pictures and autographs went.
So VIP tickets are $250, comic VIP tickets $275, celebrity VIP tickets $300, 3-day pass $99, Friday pass $40, Saturday, Sunday $50 each. So they good.
They make their money back no matter what off of her. It's a Comic-Con in general. So when you bring a celebrity to a Comic-Con, it's going to be that. Now, yeah, J.D. Smith says, besides no one should be complaining about her price, entertainers have a small window of opportunity to make the cheddar. This is true, but that is really true when your relevancy is dying out. She is literally beginning to hit her stride. Even if her wrestling career is ending, her Hollywood career is ascending. You know what I'm saying? She is
especially
not in
Star Wars. She's in the right that Star Wars pocket. She doesn't need to do any other movies. She's good.
No, but here's the thing though, because she's in that, it will automatically, and people talking about her, it will automatically open up doors for numerous other franchises. Pretty much what she'll have the opportunity to do what she wants. If she wants to go Marvel, she's already in the Disney family. That's easily there. If she wants to do another type of property, she wants to go drama, whatever, she can do it. And again, all of these things being said warrant her being able to command a $30K appearance. You know what I'm saying? It's a $30K appearance fee. Everybody acting like you're saying $300,000. Look, when Braun Strowman was released, he was asking for $25,000, and everybody was like, "What?" And I was like, "How?" And then I was like, "Oh yeah, there are a lot of country racists that want to see him." Cool, that makes sense. But yeah, that makes sense. I like to see the big guy look like me, don't like the darkies. That sounds about right. But when we're talking about someone like this, who the reason she leaves is still shrouded in anonymity because no one knows fully. It's just the story of her not liking creative, right? That's just the story we hear about from her and Trinity. But we don't know fully. Again, we don't even know if she's officially released.
Right.
Yeah.
So the fact, just the mystique behind all of that commands that worth. You know what I'm saying? There's certain people, like I said, that can't ask those prices. If you told me right now to this day, I swear to God, if you did a press release that said EC3 is commanding $30,000 for a release, I was going to tell you EC3 is commanding $30,000 for an appointment with Dr. Kevorkian because he should go kill himself. Because that is no reason you're not worth that money. You are not worth that. Sasha Banks, Mercedes Venado, however you want to label her, even still as the WWE, before they pulled her merchandise, was still a merch generator.
Still popping.
Still popping.
And the big thing is they're going to pay her.
Whoa. Time out. No,
that's the thing. It's like
this is a high quality
pay
show,
her.
man. We got inserts.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they're paying her. So like, it's not your money. Like, if you don't believe she deserves to be paid that money, don't go and say her, don't pay tickets. It's like the concept to just overarching. This is like my annoyance. The concept to overarching things like TV shows, comedy specials, whatever podcasts that you don't like. You know what you can do? Just not watch it.
Just not watch it.
Like, if she doesn't deserve the money in your mind, then don't go and pay and see her.
Because here's the thing: there's certain wrestling promoters, there's certain indie wrestling promoters like, oh, how's she gonna charge $30,000? Bro, your company ain't even worth $30,000, so calm down.
Yeah,
your little company ain't worth $30K.
Yeah. Like, you sound big mad. You sound big mad because you ain't got the $30K. You can't charge that much. You can't afford a quality of Sasha Banks, so you have to book like the NWA Mid-South Regional Champion from '83 to do a walkthrough because you could pay him in pills or whatever. But these companies who are able to book Sasha
in other
Banks,
words, what Kane is saying, you can book Ian Rotten right now. Just make sure you get don't get a handshake and a hot dog. As somebody who's dealt with Ian Rotten, yes, as someone who has dealt with Ian Rotten professionally for years, anybody that still gets screwed over by IWA Mid-South, you deserve it.
But here's the thing we got to remember as well, guys, because we reported here the other day that, remember, she's taking non-wrestling bookings until January 1st. So all she's doing is just stacking, taking some time off, and then January 4th, we're going to see her at Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah!
Maybe.
And again, if she commanding $30K, right? If she's commanding 30, she getting 15 off the grip. 15 coming before the phone hangs up. 15 coming through the account before the phone call is done.
Oh yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
Check the Venmo. It's in there.
It's in there.
Wow.
So
yeah. I mean, that sounds like something that like I would definitely pay for it to attend to see Sasha Banks. And you guys know how I would pay for it? TK, do you know how I would pay for it?
Oh God,
TK,
here we go.
Do you know how I would pay for it?
OnlyFans?
Well, not for this one. That's a different bank account. But I will use my WWE Superstar credit card from Credit One Bank. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would just swipe.
Jay's face is everything.
I got the card, dog. I got approved. Smack down with the credit card, but my credit score don't go down. Don't you want to hear more? You don't want to hear more? It's awesome. You want to hear more? You sure? I can get new headphones. I get cash back if you use it.
Wow. All right, Kate, you want to go to the next story with Jade Cargill?
Oh my goodness gracious, man! Shouts to my girl Jade Cargill, who I screamed to the heavens that she should also get a WWE Superstar credit card. No, but Jade Cargill has reached a very impressive milestone in AEW. Jade Cargill has been in AEW her entire professional wrestling career. Like, that's it. That's what she's doing. And it has something to surpass the man, Goldberg. She is the woman. Her debut was March 3rd of 2021. March 2021, of course, she teamed with the Big Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal, to take on Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes and whatnot. No, it wasn't Brandy. It was Red Velvet, right? It was Red Velvet.
Yeah, it's Red Velvet.
Because Brandy got hurt.
Yeah. Hurt is a good synonym for baby.
Or pregnancy.
She got pregnant.
Yeah, it was pregnancy. Right? She was injured with pregnancy.
Yeah.
Well, it's 34-0.
Brandy was on the injured list. But 501 days. That's right, TK. 501 days. She's 34-0, man. So, they have booked Jade perfectly in AEW. They have booked her perfectly. This is kind of the dream. Just look at her. She look like she could beat you in real life, bro. Like, she can, like, legit beat you up. Not, like, fight you, but beat you up. Like, give you a swirly. Put you in the toilet, put your head in the toilet, and everything. She is... like the Glamazon, if that name wasn't already taken by Beth Phoenix, just badass woman, dog, who was like kicking ass, and I can't wait to see her ascend even more. People thought it was too early to give her the title. They thought the TBS title should have went to Ruby Soho or somebody else who left the Fed to come over. No, homegrown talent, build her up, let the people watch. Again, I said WWE got Bianca, AEW has Jade Cargill. Yes, Mr. Washington.
Hi, I'd like to respectfully disagree with your point, Kane, about
Let's
the
hear
Ruby
it.
Soho thing, because here's why. I understand what they're doing with Jade Cargill. She is one of the very few homegrown, not an indie talent that they are pushing, right? This is one of the very few. However, every single time they have brought somebody over from the WWE that has gotten released, they've made a big deal out of it, and then nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby Soho was brought in. It was this whole big thing, and now she just barely on dark. Like, Athena is in the mix because if you put this black woman on, like, look, the black on black crime we see it sounds perfect, Tony Khan. But also, you're trying to keep proving Big Swole wrong. And in all actuality, it's like, bruh, we know what you're doing. But at the same time, yes, I can, TK. The same time, when it comes to Jade Cargill, her matches. The one issue I have, and a lot of other workers have had, we're watching her grow on TV. Like, we're literally watch her grow on TV. But there's a problem with that when she's being put in the ring with some highly professional women who can work their asses off and have tried to carry her. And it's like, sometimes you see the lack of experience in Jade. You get what I'm saying? It's not a diss to her, but it's like a Thunder Rosa come in here and like, yo, Britt Baker and all them. And granted, yes, you're putting Jade over. And a lot of people don't care for Britt, but in the terms of experience. So my question becomes, when you do this Goldberg thing with her, what you're doing, when she falls, because she has to fall, do you do a build back up after the fall immediately, or do you give her a Becky and Bianca build, which was the perfect storytelling in wrestling in a couple of years?
I think when she falls, we're not going to see her for a while, like a long time.
Oh no, she balling and never falling. Jade Cargill is going to end up a double champion in AEW. She will be AEW World's Women's Champion as well as TBS Champion, probably vacate the TBS Championship and become the face of the women's division. And probably one of the faces of AEW as a whole. This ain't being done just to carry the TBS title, okay? This has been built up to something perfectly. There's a reason why she's been completely kept separate from the AEW women's title picture. Because when it's time to pull that trigger, whoever it may be against, at this point, I'm not really sure, will a Jade Cargill, Britt Baker match be like money? Or would it be against maybe somebody else who's coming in? But she's going to end up winning that title and become a double champion and just explode because, some things you can't teach. And the moment I saw Jade Cargill, I was just like, star. So star. Immediately, she has that it factor that I know we want to see flips and we want to see 30-minute Iron Man matches and whatnot. But sometimes you just want to see somebody come out who's big as shit and beat somebody up. And then not only does that, but she has the interview. She has the promos to talk about it. A lot of these folk can wrestle, but they can't promo for nothing. So I'd much rather at this point, because I think it's harder to teach promo to teach wrestling. So if you got that natural charisma off the rip like Jade does, we can teach you how to wrestle. You know what I'm saying? We put you in some squash matches here and there, and then, no one's going to see Jade Cargill for a 30-minute mat classic. We're not looking at Jade for that anyway. So I think with this, you're going to build her up, and we're going to get a double champion. Yes, Mr. Washington.
Hi. Again, I'd like to interject slightly. It is not saying that we want her to be flippy and spots and things like that, but there is going to get a point where you are going to want to see more than just the squashes.
Right.
Because you're going to have to know what she can do. Let's just be honest. You know, people wanted to see more at the Big Show. Any monster that you have, man or woman, you want to see, can they be more than the monster? Do we want an Iron Woman match with Jade Cargill? I don't think so, because I don't think she has the gas tank for it. Because, again, her matches are based on her dominating. That's it. A 30-minute match, she's not going to be able to dominate that because we haven't seen her gas tank yet. We need to see.
We kind of saw that in the match against Ruby Soho. It was kind of like in the TBS Championship final was like, whoop, but she's shaking a little bit. She need to find a gas station.
And that's the thing. So you're talking, this is the woman you want. Again, I could totally agree her being AEW Women's World Champion, her being the face of the company as a whole. I can see it. But just because you're the face of the company, are you really the face of a pro wrestling company? Yes, talent and charisma is through the roof. Mm-hmm. But also there's another part of this business that's going to count. And it's what you do in that ropes, in between those ropes.
I can respect that. Hey, eventually we saw Goldberg doing like leg kicks. I mean, Bret Hart ain't see it coming, but eventually we saw.
Neither did Bret Hart's skull and.
Really, yikes!
Sorry.
Eventually, we saw Goldberg kind of develop a skill set of more. Of course, Jade Cargill is training with the great Bryan Danielson, so I can't wait to see her put some of that into her matches. But it's going to be a slow build, I think, with them. I prayed to the wrestling gods, to Luthez, to Rocky Johnson, everybody, that Stokely Hathaway, once he left NXT, once Michael Bivens left NXT, I said, oh, Stokely got to be with Jade immediately. Mm-hmm. And it happened. And now we're kind of seeing that character flourish even more because it was kind of getting stale with Mark Sterling. And now Mark's kind of doing this thing, which is dope. They're going to find a way to link back up eventually. But I think with the Stokely and with the baddies, something that can transcend just wrestling, and you can get actual pop culture involved. Come on, man! Like the whole thing, like with the baddies now something is there. So even if you didn't know Jade Cargill, you might know the baddies, and then you see the baddies, and you see this woman who looks like just like an Instagram bae all the way, like wrestling and suplexing people. And let's not get it twisted. It's pretty dope to see a black woman like busting ass out here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that just makes AEW more than just a wrestling company, because that audience, they need some XX chromosomes in that thing.
But it's also what you just said real quick, and we can move on. You just said it earlier. Vince has Bianca. He had to have an option. Tony Khan needed to have something to completely parallel that, because unfortunately, it's not the baddie. If a damn show ain't a Britt Baker, it's not Ruby, it's not Thunder Rosa. The only person with enough charisma to match what a Bianca Belair is a Jade Cargill. Now, if you put them in a match, Bianca Belair runs circles around her. That's God truth.
That's just facts. That's just facts right there. You know
all right, Jay. What do we have next?
It has been 9 years to the day, y'all, since we first got the daughter of Ric Flair. Yes, Charlotte Flair's in-ring debut in NXT was 9 years ago, and my God, can you tell before the implants and surgery? It is beautiful. She made her debut. She signed in 2012 with the company, again, after not wanting to do this and only having done it after her brother, Reed, passed away. She had her debut match against one of her future 4 horsewomen, Bayley, and she won that match. Now, as we know, she's won titles from both Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks. She's been all over the company. She's been NXT Women's Champion again when they didn't even really want to count it, just to give a WrestleMania match against Rhea Ripley. All in still, she has been one of the faces, along with the Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Bianca Belair, who have changed what women's wrestling as a whole. This is notwithstanding and not just dismissing the women in AEW or Mission Pro with Thunder Rosa has going. They have changed women's wrestling as a whole. Like Charlotte out here doing stuff. You like, yo, what is you on? like
somersault off the top rope outside. Yeah.
When she started doing that, I was like, oh, you decided to tell everybody, no. Forget what the physical feature looked like. I'm just as good as a wrestler as anybody else in this ring. And I was like, okay, bet. I got you. And she lives up to it every single time, from even having to, listen, some people may not want to hear this, from having to carry Ronda Rousey. Because everybody in every match has had to carry Ronda Rousey. And let's be real. And she does, and she has done it well. And dropped the title with grace because she was like, I'm finna go get married. Y'all had this. Y'all deal with this. I'll go holler.
Still getting paid.
I'm gonna go get up out of here for a while. Y'all take it.
I'll see y'all later. I mean, Charlotte Flair was the finals Divas champion, the first newly activated, reinstated women's champion. She has truly been a pillar of the women's division. And the fact that she draws the heat that she does, it's not X-Pac heat. It's not go away heat. It's like, I can't stand the character of Charlotte Flair because she's so good. She's so pompous. She backs it up and she delivers every time. Some of the biggest events involving the Women's Championship or the Raw Women's Championship or the SmackDown Women's Championship involves Charlotte Flair. And you can see how much the SmackDown Women's division is missing Charlotte because the belt just feels kind of, I'm very happy for Liv and that, Ronda dropped the belt because that was kind of weird. If not winning at WrestleMania, why at Backlash? I don't really understand that booking decision, but maybe we can get a reset with Liv as champion. But clearly during the Ronda and Natalya feud, it was missing that oomph. It was missing something. So I think that even though we kind of get, bored or frustrated with Charlotte Flair always in the title picture, you kind of need her in that title picture to make that belt matter, whether it's on the Raw side, title. Sorry, Vince. On the Raw or SmackDown side. She is that girl, as we say. Like, you don't know what you got until it's gone. And
do you though? Because I feel like she can, yes, she does hold she brings a prestige to any women's championship. I get you. But I just think sometimes I want to see her in a regular mid-level feud that'll elevate. Again, remember how you have feuds that lead to the U.S. title or the Intercontinental title. Granted, there isn't a secondary title for the women. She can elevate women in feuds like that.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I say this all the time. It's not like she can't, but they bring her in to do what Charlotte Flair does, which is be amazing, carry the title, etc. Putting in the mid-level feuds, you're still going to need mid-level storylines, which they just, for some reason,
can't develop with the women.
Yeah, with all the stories and writers, especially in just LA alone, they just can't figure out for other women, for mid-level women. So that's the problem. It's not Charlotte. It's like they're just not giving Charlotte and the other women opportunities. So then when the belt goes to a point where there's nothing and everybody's dissatisfied with the champion, it's like, all right, Charlotte, excuse me, Charlotte, you call her assistant to call her assistant. Can we have you back? And it'll be this, what will be the story you'll carry it. You'll be the person that everybody hates or loves to hate. And then, we hit that cycle again because for some reason they can't write for women.
Look at what Becky and Asuka are doing. They are in a perfect marriage where they've had a bunch of matches where, yes, it's contendership, but it just their story worked because of their rivalry. Those are things I kind of want to see with Charlotte, personally.
I think with Charlotte, it would take a while to see that without the title, because the thing about Charlotte is we like to see her lose the title more than we like to see her win the title. So if she is in a mid-level feud and she loses, then that person who beats her doesn't win the title. So it just doesn't hit the same. You know what I mean? So I think with Charlotte, you like to see her as champion just to lose to somebody because her loss, because whoever beats Charlotte for the title elevates them so much higher. I would love to have seen Liv actually go over Charlotte as opposed to Ronda. And even with Ronda, it was kind of a fluky roll up and Ronda, but you better believe when Charlotte come back, she coming after Liv. Because remember, Liv had those unsuccessful challenges against Charlotte. So that storyline's kind of there. And Charlotte can come back and look at what's going down since I've been gone. Y'all been pathetic. Well, the queen is back.
Yeah, but do you give her the belt the first match back? Because that's what it feels like. It feel like
I wouldn't be surprised.
It feel like the moment Charlotte come back, it'll be Survivor Series, and it is boom.
Yeah. I mean, that Asuka situation, I'm still kind of, about that when she beat Asuka. Charlotte, I was like, what is this? Asuka didn't lose for 7,000 calendar days or something. Yeah. And she just loses against, what a meaningless Royal Rumble. Not to go
no, you shouldn't be mad at the loss. You shouldn't be mad at the loss, Kane. What you should be mad at is them telling Asuka to get on the mic and say, Charlotte was ready for Asuka. Because I wanted to fight everybody involved with that. Everybody.
What are you mean Charlotte was ready for Oscar? Did she take? She said like a. Did she like a pre-SAT? Did she take like a pre-Oscar test or something? She was ready.
Oh gosh. Well,
but shouts to Charlotte.
To sum it all up, Charlotte is great. Yes.
Yes.
Give her the flowers that she deserves for sure. With that being said, perfect timing. We'll start with Mr. J Washington because we don't know when we're going to see him again. Where can everybody find you and etc. etc.
Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. I really don't want to be on TikTok, but I have to, according to my manager and my agent.
That part.
You gotta do these dances. Gotta do these dances.
Three times a day. 3 times a day.
Look, so on top of that, I'm putting my podcast, the Matt Titan podcast, on a little bit of pause because of me being busy. But I'll be around just different places. I post all the stand-up shows I have throughout Los Angeles. I'm supposed to be coming to a couple of comic book conventions. I was gonna go to C2E2, but flights are $900 for me to go back to my hometown of Chicago. So guess where I'm not going to Chicago? Salt Lake City. All those are on deck. So stay tuned.
Oh, and we also have a show coming out. Don't forget about that, Jay.
Huh?
Blurs in the Hood. Revamp.
Yeah, we definitely calling this some other shit. I'm sorry.
We have another. If you're not familiar, Jay and I was on Jay's show, and that show is no longer. So we are coming out with a new show. So be on the lookout for that too. All right, Kate. Where can everybody find you?
Hey Jay, and by the way, man, I know you have problems like finding tickets, expensive tickets, dude. Don't worry about spending money because you can always just charge it to your WWE superstar card.
We're not doing
it. just hear me. We'll talk in the chat, homie. We'll talk in the chat.
He legitimately he left. Where can everybody find you, Kane?
I'm at Kane McCoy, CAINMCCOY. Shouts to JD. What's up?
Oh my gosh. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Nikki for helping us break the Ric Flair news. Shout out to JD. I think we had some other people in here as well. But thank you guys for watching. We are on week three. So thank you so much. It is just day by day. We're doing it. So we have a lot of shows coming up. So don't forget we have the Raw after show tonight. Tonight's Monday. Raw after show tonight. Tomorrow we have Dishing Indies. We have so many shows. WWT Live is Monday to Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Definitely check out all our articles at www.talk.com and then also, www.talkpod.com. And also check out all our social media at www.talkpod, including TikTok, all that good stuff. You can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. Again, thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.